What's up, squad? Back with another video. Y'all seeing this how those going down. Make sure y'all like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Says in case you missed it, House Republicans have sent a letter urging U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen to conduct an immediate investigation into allegations of fraud under Governor Tim Walz. According to the claim, your taxpayer dollars literally are being sent overseas to fund terrorist organizations. Pretty wild. Source quoted in the letter stated the largest funder of al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. That is absolutely insane. So, you have people that, it's probably thousands, maybe even millions, and that's still horrible. But in fact, it's 1 billion. Tim Walz is asked about 1 billion Somali fraud scandal in Minnesota. Check out what he says.
Well, speaking of the Somali community, President Trump is targeting them and your state in part. He's citing fraud as the reason for his crackdown. Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. There's a reason Minnesota ranks as the top. Lowest childhood poverty, best place for children to live. People are taking advantage of that. They're going to prison. That is totally disconnected with demonizing an entire group of people who came here fleeing civil war and created a vibrant community that makes Minnesota and this country better. But that's Donald Trump. Deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud. My God, there's a big difference between fraud and corruption is something he knows about.
One thing about it, Tim Walz is always going to blame President Trump. He's always going to blame President Trump. That just goes to show you that he isn't doing his job, and he shouldn't be at all, a governor. He shouldn't, just based off of his answers, instead of taking accountability. There's one thing about it, to take that accountability when, it's something that's that deep. We're talking about 1 billion here, and you automatically, I'm about to blame President Trump. Like, come on, make that make sense. Got it here. It says millions of your tax dollars. Literally. And it should say, billions of your tax dollars. To basically Somali terrorists. Check it out.
About billions of dollars that have been stolen from American taxpayers. And Ilhan Omar and the rest of them seem more outraged at those of us who reported on it, those of us who noticed it, and those of us who blew the whistle. But this scandal is not going away.
Now, Minnesota tax dollars apparently ending up in the hands of terrorists overseas. So
insane.
How's that happening and why? So we'll get to an alarming
insane,
detail
y'all.
about that.
I'm telling y'all, absolutely insane. Wouldn't even lie to y'all. Says here, Tim Walz's administration is refusing to release the records of Medicaid providers accused of fraud. Minnesota's DHS whistleblowers have stated the fraud could exceed. See, at first we were talking about 1 billion. We were talking about 1 billion, y'all. It has gotten worse. Minnesota DHS whistleblowers have stated the fraud could exceed 6.5 billion since Walz has assumed office. Only 2 billion has been uncovered so far. And you mean to tell me that this man didn't take accountability and immediately put his full blame on President Trump? We're not talking we're not talking 100, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, because that's still, it's still money. We're talking 6.5 billion since Walz is in office. Absolutely insane. Telling y'all. It says here, since we're back on the topic of Tim Walz and feeding our future, here's Walz's picture with the defendant 58. Number 58 in the 250 million feeding our future fraud scheme. This is Amran Abukar. Abukar. I don't know. I apologize if I said it wrong, but I don't apologize because of the things that you've been doing. Says was literally given in, I'm telling y'all, bro. it gets worse. As I'm reading this stuff, it says she was given an entrepreneurship award by Governor Walz. So a lot of this is literally showing and telling y'all that he has a lot to do with it. And what I find crazy is that they haven't applied pressure, within investigating to the full extent when it comes to all of this. Even Governor Walz. I'm telling y'all, it's disgusting. This is the 77th person. I'm pretty sure it's 78 total. This is the 77th person convicted in Minneapolis caught taking government money meant to feed children while running it out of a corner store. 300,000 meals promised, 0 delivered. Every dollar went straight to his pockets. When the poorest kids are the easiest to rob, this is what evil looks like in a suit.
Usman Kamara runs a very popular grocery store in North Minneapolis on Broadway Avenue called Kay's Dollar Grocery and Deli, or Kay's African Market. That's where federal prosecutors say Kamara claimed to serve 300,000 meals to kids during the pandemic. The indictment says that never happened, and he stole $1 million meant to feed hungry kids. The feds plan to seize the building where the store is located because they say Kamara used fraud money to buy it. Usman Kamara runs a very popular...
It's absolutely disgusting what these individuals are doing, y'all. It's absolutely disgusting what these individuals are doing. I'm telling y'all. Absolutely disgusting. And I truly hate it. I truly hate it, that, you have, these taxpayers that, hardworking, individuals, and come to find out that these individuals are literally leaving their country, coming to America and disrespecting America and disrespecting the people of America. And they automatically, okay, well, I'm gonna take more. I'm gonna steal more. It's absolutely disgusting to me, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's absolutely disgusting to me. It says here, Elon Musk just said it straight. Any violation of the oath of citizenship should result in deportation. Says he's right. If you spit on the country that welcomed you, if you lie on your way into citizenship, if you use American generosity to push hate and division, you don't belong here for one more second. Start denaturalizing every American hater and every fraud who has gamed the system. And I'm telling y'all, they're doing it. Like, it's not even like they're literally doing it. And the one who's actually, and I have to say that, that's allegedly, it's Tim Walz. I'm telling y'all. Says yes, that includes Ilhan Omar. Anyone else who treats the oath like it's a joke. I'm telling y'all, it's absolutely sickening. Absolutely sickening. Check it out, Fox News, Stephen Miller.
Add up to. Why are they engaged in all this? What is their objective here? It's the Somalification of America. In other words, when you see the state of Somalia, that's what they want for America at the end of the day, because it's easier to rule over an empire of ashes than it is for the Democratic Party to rule over a functioning, Western, high-trust society with a strong middle class. Look how powerful the Democrat Party became in Minnesota once they flooded it with 100,000 Somalians. Once the elections were decided, right, by clan rivalries and ethnic feuds. Once that happened, the Democrat Party became permanently powerful in Minnesota. Yep. They became permanently powerful in the Twin Cities. That's their model for America, to make the whole country into a version of Somalia. And everything they do gets down to that. So when you ask me what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving, I praise God every day that Donald Trump is our president. And we've gone from 30% inflation, 20 million illegals, unlimited refugees.
I'm telling y'all. One thing about it, like I've said, how sickening this is. I truly pray that they get things, together and get things right, because this isn't right. Especially, when it's people that's struggling, it's really people that's struggling. And the funny thing is about this whole thing is that, and that I keep on thinking about, these individuals didn't have nothing in Somalia. They still don't. They come over here and disrespect. Disrespect the people, disrespect these businesses, and disrespect, America as a whole. People, the disrespect, I seen something that was about, they had a gang war in the buildings. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, that you obviously see they're bringing more crime. Why would you want that? I'm telling y'all, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Got it here. Says President Trump doubled down after calling Governor Tim Walz seriously retarded. Check it out.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find inoffensive or retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure.
But you don't think that
you have a problem with him? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into a state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah, there's something.
And then constantly disrespect our country, waving flags, and you know, they have their leader and sitting there and loving him and embracing. Why don't just go back to Somalia then? You're having multiple peoples, you know, making TikToks, you know, and making fun of and saying that they're going to leave and go back to Somalia. Hey, be my guest. Be my guest. I'm telling y'all, we don't need all this hate and negativity here. I'm telling y'all, and you know, you already had crime you're already dealing with, but to have more and more individuals that's coming from these different countries and adding on more crime, and it's not even crime to where it's like a slap on the hand, stealing out a Walmart, you know, or, you know, literally, you seen how bad Chicago is with the train and you know, the guy with the fire, and, you know, you're having all these situations. I got to watch what I say on here, y'all. That's why I'm talking like that. But you're having all these situations. You're having all these situations, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And you see, the crazy thing is, as I'm thinking about this and as I'm thinking of the things that they're doing, you don't really, and I know this is probably going to sound odd and it's going to sound a little weird. You have that crime, obviously, in America, but I feel like what they're doing is way worse. What they're doing is way worse. You know, you don't really, you see that, but you don't really see that until, you know, and I'm trying to word it better, but you definitely see it. It's horrible. The things that they're doing, the crimes that they're committing, it's definitely horrible. And I feel like it's definitely way worse than what I've seen. I'm telling y'all, what I've seen, I truly feel like it's way worse what they're doing. A lot of things that they're doing. But y'all already know, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.